Good morning. We're back here out on the farm. Haven't uploaded anything for a while, but I wanted to check in and show you guys a project that we've got going on here. We're installing new frost-free drinking post waters for the livestock. We're doing them for the horses, cattle, and sheep and goats. So I want to kind of give you a rundown on what we're doing here. We have Here's the pit where we tapped into our existing water supply. So we dug down and we put a T-fitting in here with a shutoff for our new hydrants that are going to be in the pasture. What we're going to do is we're going to put a fence line water here for the cows and the horses to share. And then we've trenched into the sheep and goat pasture over here where we've installed a sheep and goat waterer. Here we have a 42-inch frost line, so we've got our trench down just below 42 inches. Running 1/2-inch PEX. Hey, Purple. So we trenched here to where we've split, going this way for the cows and horses, this way for the sheep and goats. I've already started to backfill the trench. We've got this side installed. This side is ready to be buried. So for this drinking post water, it acts the same as a frost-free hydrant, where the cows or the horses or the sheep, they push down on a paddle inside of the drinker, like so. The bowl fills up with water. And then when they're done drinking, they let go of the paddle. Hey, Kim. The water into a drain field that we put here. Underneath this black landscape fabric, we have about 18 inches of washed stone. Looks like this right here as our drain field. So the water that drains back down out of the drinker when they're done drinking comes down into the drain field here. And then we don't have any water left in the drinking post that could potentially freeze. So this doesn't require electricity because there's no water above the frost line unless the animals are actually drinking out of it. And then as soon as they're done drinking, the water goes back below the frost line. And I'm excited to not have to chip ice out of water troughs. There's no water sitting in here in the summertime to get algae. You can see that our water tanks over here, they can get a little gross in the summertime. So the idea is we get rid of any algae growth in the summer. They always have fresh, cool drinking water. There's no water in the tank to freeze in the winter. And we just have to train them how to use that paddle. So that's the setup there. The PEX coming in at the base of the tube. That little blue line on the pipe there is our minimum depth to frost line. So the pipe has to go at least 18 inches below the frost line. So in this application, we needed to be at least 60 inches below the ground with the base of our pipe. And that's right about where we put it. You can see I marked on the pipe up here where we needed to be at ground level, and we're maybe an inch or two below ground level at our minimum depth. So, and hopefully with as many animals as we have drinking off this, it's going to be cycling enough water where that's not going to be an issue for us. So coming over here, we used a 7-foot water for the cows and horses that puts the top of the pipe roughly 18 inches, 19 inches above ground level. 6-foot pipe in that brings the top of the water up to about 12 inches above the ground level. So it's a little bit lower so young lambs and baby goats can access it. Same thing here. They push the paddle down, fills up. Got some dirt in there from backfilling. I'll probably take a leaf blower and try and blow that stuff out or wipe it out with a rag so it doesn't get in the internals. But it's supposed to take 8 to 12 seconds to fill the bowl and about 40 seconds to drain the bowl. And I'm awfully excited to start using these instead of those Rubbermaid tanks that grow algae in the summer and freeze in the winter. So the water's all gone, everything's below the frost line, nothing here to freeze, no electricity required. To do this project, we use the New Holland here. I've got the bucket on it now for backfilling and cleaning up the spoils, but I have a backhoe attachment that we used. So I dug all the holes for the water units with this machine with a backhoe on it. I used the big blue tractor. Yeah. Well, James comes up here quite a bit. Maybe he can. The blue tractor with the bucket on it to bring in our washed rock. It was a 6A washed rock that's 3/4 inch to 1 inch stones with no fill or no filler. We put our landscape fabric down over top to keep sand and clay from leaching into our drain field. And then for these trenches here, you can see when I get down here, these trenches are nice, clean cut. We rented from Sunbelt Rentals in town here a skid steer mounted trenching attachment. This thing saved us a lot of work. So this here is an auger that moves the spoils from the trench off to the side. This has a digging depth of 48 inches. So most of our trenches are dug at 48 inches. Our pits had to be dug to 60 inches to allow for 18 inches of rock to be put in the beds before we ended up putting the water in the fabric, and then we'll start to backfill. Then the other problem that we're going to have to solve here with this water in particular is we have access here from both sides of the fence, but calves can fit through here. So I'm going to have to come up with some type of way to block this in so that they can still drink from the top, but the calves can't pass through the fence. We're still problem solving on that and can do an update when we figure that out. But so far, we started this project on Friday. It's Sunday morning, so this is 2 days of all-day hard work. We did have to hand dig areas like right here where the two trenches meet, because the spoils from one trench filled the other, and we had a cave in. So there was quite a bit of hand digging involved despite using the equipment, but nothing near what we would have been doing if we'd had to do all of this by hand. And we've got, I'd say, about 170 feet of trench from here to there and back. So we went through 2 rolls of PEX tubing, for our for our shutoff, our water shutoff here, I took the pieces of an old, let's see, I don't know where we put it. I had an old PVC chicken feeder. Notched out the pipe to run through. So we cut this a size. It's got a threaded top on it, so we've got a cover for it. This pipe sits down right over top of our shutoff valve so that we have access to the shutoff once this is buried. So that's today's project, is backfilling around the cattle water, installing this riser pipe above our shutoff, and then finishing the backfill on all the trenches. And then it's a matter of teaching the animals how to drink out of them. I'm excited. No more chopping ice out of tanks. No more cleaning algae out of troughs. Fresh water year round. Now, once we get there, to maintain these is supposed to be pretty easy. There's an adjustment screw in the top. Right here for winter and summer use, you make small adjustments there for how much pressure the paddle needs to apply to the rod to bring the water up. There's also, I've seen a couple of guys in cold climates that put petroleum jelly on the hinges just to keep them from icing a little bit with whatever residual water's out there in really cold temperatures. So you can play around with it a little bit and see what works that you're using it for. All in all, it's a pretty cool system. I'm excited to try it. This has been something that I've wanted to do for a long time. Finally bit the bullet on it. The waters themselves, I think I paid about $600 a piece for the rental of the trencher was $120. I picked it up after 12 p.m. on a Friday, so I got it for the whole weekend for the price of one day. We had some PEX left over from previous jobs, so we only needed one roll of PEX and then the fittings. So I'm hoping that in the savings of between labor chopping ice out of tanks, electricity running tank heaters and heated hoses, these waters will pay for themselves in about 2 years. And from then on, it's just easy watering. Walk over here to the garden real quick while I've got you with me, and show you what we did this year for our garden. To get better control, we did Cherokee Pearl, we did pineapple, and then we had this is a volunteer tomato come up in here from last year's varieties. We've got basil. It's going to seed here. Our cucumbers are pretty well done. So we had potatoes all down this row, basil, peppers, tomatoes, We've got lemon balm here that's just exploding. We did some carrots, but the carrots got kind of overtaken by all this grass and weeds. So we've got a few carrots coming up in the corner here, but everything else kind of got overtaken. We probably had 40 volunteer tomato plants come up all over. So there's tomatoes everywhere. We did painted mountain corn again. So all the corn you see here is the painted mountain gem corn that's done pretty well here. Our trellises, we're doing grapes. So there's red and green and Concord grapes growing up over our trellises. I've caged them in using some dog kennel panels. I don't know if you can see them here. So that the rabbits don't chew them off this year. Last year the rabbits chewed them all off at the base. And luckily about half of them recovered. We've got watermelon. Got about 8 of these. Hey Arnold. About 8 of these giant watermelons growing on the plant right now, with more smaller ones coming in. Our cucumbers here, they're just about at the end of their life. We still got some nice little ones. We also have our beans that we do every year. These things just are prolific. Another little cucumber. New watermelon. So more grapes. Oh, look at, see through here some of those pineapple tomatoes. I think those are a pretty cool variety. More beans. And then I tried eggplants this year. And I had no idea how prolific eggplants are. I've already harvested about 30 of these things. And this plant has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 more on it. This one has even more than that. That's a beauty. So I don't need 4 eggplant plants. I just need 1 of them next year. Eggplant fried with syrup. That sounds pretty good. I've been frying it in bacon fat. That's been fantastic. It's a little rich, but man, is it good. And we have 1 more pepper plant over here that's been doing really well. This watermelon plant that's here, this is 1 plant, just 1. I planted 2. Here's the other hole where I planted the other one. This one didn't survive, that one survived and thrived. So I guess it's good to plant 2 in case 1 doesn't make it, but I can't eat this much watermelon either. There's another giant watermelon. Another giant watermelon. This one's about halfway there. They weigh a good 20 pounds. And again over here, this is what the garden would have looked like if I hadn't put the plastic down. Sorry if I'm wobbling you guys all over here. But this was what we had last year and the years prior. And then we've got more tomatoes that are volunteering up in the wood chips around the garden. But I really like how I haven't had to weed this and it didn't turn into this year using this plastic. And yeah, I can't believe it. Just one watermelon plant is plenty for me. This is over here on this tarp is where last year I did my fabric pots. And that's all the tomatoes you see here are volunteers from last year's tomatoes out of those fabric pots. So we went from a garden looking like this to looking like this. Next year, hopefully we can dial it in even better. And it just, when it's cleaner like that, it's a lot easier to maintain. It was very, very dry here this year, so I was actually pretty surprised with as little rain as we had to see these things do as well as they have. Especially with the black plastic, because I thought maybe with the sun beating on that, it'd heat things up too much and kind of cook everything. And I was pleasantly surprised that everything survived and did this well. So that's the garden this year. That's the new watering system that we've installed to keep our guys from getting thirsty in the summer and the winter time. No chopping ice, no cleaning algae. Took us, I think we'll be able to wrap it up today, so it'll be a 3-day job. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna be real happy we did it. Thanks, Deborah. It was good to see everybody here. Thank you for checking in. And I'm gonna get back to digging and filling in those holes. You guys have a blessed afternoon, and we'll catch you again soon.